Hello, everybody. I am Dallisa Hocking. I'm thrilled to be here with you today. I am a fifth generation, yes, fifth generation psychic medium, and I'm thrilled. We're going to have so much fun today. You may have seen my photo, my name somewhere last year, pre-pandemic. I was blessed and fortunate to be a headliner inside the Hotel Apache showroom. And I was doing live readings with people that were in the audience. And you know what? I bet there's even somebody watching this video this week that says, "Hey, I saw your show." And if that's the case, thank you so much. Of course, entertainment in Las Vegas was dark during the pandemic. And so I'm excited to be able to join you live here today. This is Haunted Encounters, and this is all about ghost stories, paranormal activity, and I have personally been through the Hotel Apache in Las Vegas, and I've been through with news cameras, news crews, reporters, and this place is incredibly haunted. And this show is going to be about exploring those different paranormal activities. And you, as an audience member, I want to hear from you. So join us for this episode today. We're going to be showing you different clips and video and a story. And I want to hear what you think about what's going on with what we're going to highlight today. I'm also going to bring on a couple of paranormal experts here in just a couple of minutes. But we are going live right now in a couple of different locations. We have the Spirit and Spark YouTube channel. Hello to everybody out there that's a Spirit and Spark TV, YouTube patron and supporter. Thanks so much for joining us. But we also have so many people on Facebook right now. We are going live on the Binion'S Facebook page, the Four Queens Facebook page, as well as Patrick Keller's Facebook group for his podcast, The Big Seance. So welcome, everybody. If you do want to drop a comment, we have all the comments that are here that are all collected for us. So I'll be taking a look at those in just a couple of minutes. But thank you to everybody. Do me a favor. If you are watching us right now, can you drop me a comment and let me know, where are you tuning in from? I'm in Las Vegas, of course, where the Hotel Apache is located inside Binion's, and I want to know where you're from. So tell me what city and state if you're within the US. If you are outside of the US, what country are you watching from? I often get people from the Philippines, India, Canada, all over the place. So it's fun to see where our viewers are tuning in from. And if you have a friend or a family member who loves ghost and paranormal activity, can you do me a favor and just tag them? Tag them in this post. We want them to see that we have created this show, this online streaming show that you can watch from anywhere, and you can see what we are capturing at the Hotel Apache. And we've had a lot of people in the last several days say, "Hey, Dallisa, I have a ghost story. I have something I want to tell you. I have a photo, a video that I want you to highlight on the show." And that's great. I've included the link at the bottom of the screen here, so you can go on there and submit your ghost and paranormal activity story. So in today's episode, we're going to be hearing from the general manager of Binion's and Four Queens, Tim Lager, and he's going to tell us a story. It's just a quick clip. And then myself and the experts are going to weigh in on what we think about his story. And then I'm going to show you a video clip of what someone captured inside of a hotel room at the historic haunted Hotel Apache. Okay, so make sure that you join us and stay tuned for this episode. I will encourage you to stay all the way to the end, because there's a couple of things we're doing. This is our very first episode. We're doing a couple of really fun things today. The Hotel Apache is going to share a room offer with you. I'm going to get to that later in the episode. And I'm going to give away, everybody that's watching that wants a free gift from me. I will share those details a little bit later in today's episode. And you might just be lucky enough to get a card reading live from me today at the end of the episode. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We're going to have a lot of fun. But I will mention that the offers that we are going to highlight in today's episode, we are broadcasting live on April 7th, 2021. You have 48 hours to redeem it, okay? So don't delay on that. I love the history of Las Vegas. I love the history of the Hotel Apache. What I'd like to do is show you a really quick clip. If you're like me, you love old photos of Las Vegas. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool to bring you just one quick fun fact about the Hotel Apache at Binion's and show you a couple old school Las Vegas photos. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. So the Hotel Apache was literally the coolest place around. I'm not a comedian, okay? I'm a psychic medium. Give the girl a break. But I do think it's really cool. Literally, I guess, right? And some of you may be wondering, what the heck's a psychic medium? Maybe you just are a fan of Binions or Four Queens. I think I need to mention that really quickly. So I am a fifth generation psychic medium. I'm a clairvoyant, which means I have clear seeing. I am clairaudient, which means that I have hearing. I can actually hear words and phrases through the right ear. And I'm clairsentient. I can feel messages and information in my physical body. And I'm telling you, Hotel Apache lights up all of the messages and helps me to understand who's in those rooms when I'm there. So it's really, really interesting. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to bring on Shannon. Shannon is so fun, and I met her through Spirit and Spark. And I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about herself, but she's going to be helping me look at these clips today and weigh in on what she thinks is happening. So, Shannon, welcome to the show today.
Hey, Dallisa.
Yeah, tell us about yourself. What makes you an expert?
Oh, Dallisa, I don't know. I'll tell you what my experience is, and then you can tell me if you think I'm an expert. But I will tell you that for many, many years, I have worked on investigating either formally or informally residential and commercial properties. And a very, very long time ago, I did a lot of commercial property investigation down in New Orleans when I was affiliated with a paranormal tour group. So we did that for a couple of years, and I got a lot of experience in different properties, but also a lot of experience with different people feeling all of those different things, whether they were, people who were really big skeptics, and they're like, oh yeah, right, like this is a joke, or the ones that were true believers and thought anything that was going on was haunted. So that experience for those couple of years really kind of tuned me into a lot of stuff. So I've seen a lot, been through a lot and seen a lot.
Yeah, I know you and I recently had lunch in Las Vegas, and you were telling me about being a tour guide and a host for different ghost tours. So I'm sure we'll get into that as we take a look at some of these clips here today. We will also hear from Patrick Keller. So we'll be hearing from him in just a couple of minutes, and he's the host of the Big Seance podcast. So what I want to do is head right into our first clip. This is Tim Lager. He's the general manager of Binion's and Four Queens. I'm going to play his clip, and then we'll weigh in on it. And those of you watching live in the audience, listen to Tim's story, because I also want you to comment and let us know what you're picking up on and what you think about the story. A quick note, make sure that your volume on your device is turned up so you can hear Tim. He's a little soft-spoken in the video clip. So here we go. Let's see what Tim has to say.
Hi, I'm Tim Lager. I'm the general manager of Binion's. And this is an area that used to be the hard count room. So back in the day, before they had Tito with ticket in, ticket out, where there was coin before that, they had a room that they counted all the quarters and nickels and dimes and all that stuff. And this is where we're at right now. What happened in this room is they had shelves around the back sides of it. So they would stack all the bags of coin that would go for what they call a fill. So they would take that fill and they put it in the slot machine to make sure it could keep running. Our people have told us that they would come in here, it's secured. As you can see, there's double doors. You can't get in here. There's cameras, there's alarms, there's everything. You could not get into this area. And they would shut it down at night. The next morning they come in, and the bags of coin, which are extremely heavy, that if they fell off the shelf, they could only fall straight down, would fall down and they would be in the middle of the room. So our people always knew something was actually going on a little bit different than what would be expected. So can't explain it, I can't confirm or deny, but that's definitely very interesting that that happened in this property.
I mean, I've had my own experiences with ghosts moving things, but what do you think, Shannon? Do you think that ghosts and paranormal beings can move things on you?
I absolutely think they can move things on you. I'll tell you what was interesting about that story for me as I was listening to it. Of course, I was visualizing it. So I kept wanting to take the camera and pan it. Well, I want to see those shelves, and I want to see those bags. And obviously, they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely can move things. What's interesting about it, especially at commercial properties, is, when you talk to staff about those things, like they came in and something was, somewhere different. These are people who are not necessarily paranormal enthusiasts, and they're not necessarily too ingratiated by the things that are happening. They're trying to do their work. So normally when those things happen, they're like, who left the door open, Bob? Why is this stuff here? And then, over time, as those things happen, you're like, wait a minute, there is no explanation for that. So I have definitely been in situations where things have been moved. The situations I've usually found myself in where I can see it with my naked eye or feel it are much more subtle than something like a ghost or an entity like taking a bag of coins and moving it in front of you. So a lot of times I think when those physical things happen, they're often manifesting not in a way that you're seeing them in the moment. Although I've had several experiences where I've seen things in the moment.
Yeah, I've had a couple of things that come to mind with me. There was a place I lived in a few years back, and I don't want people judging me, but by the front door, I used to just put like all my shoes in one pile. It was kind of like a hot mess express, okay? So all my shoes are in one pile. I came home one day. I lived by myself. The shoes were all organized. And I thought, oh my God, is this like my grandmother? Like, who organized all my shoes? And then it happened another time, not on the same day, totally different time period. And I couldn't find my phone charger. And I'm like, enough is enough, guys. Like, I'm talking to spirit and I'm like, where is my phone charger? Enough. And I said that in the bathroom. Like, I was fed up. I was done. I walked out into my bedroom and it was sitting in the middle of my bedroom floor. And I'm like, you stinkers.
And it's interesting though, right? Like it didn't happen right in front of you. It happened as a kind of like what he was talking about. I had this one incident. It's the one that I'll never forget. I was in New Orleans and it was actually not on a tour. We were called in. We didn't usually get hot calls where it's like, something's happening, get on over. But this one was. And there were 5 of us in this group. And there was one of our skeptic friends because we were going to go out that night. And we're like, hey, we got to go to this building. And it was at La Petite Theater, which is right off Jackson Square in New Orleans. And they were having an issue. And the issue wasn't the thing that happened. I mean, there were things up in the attic that were happening. But we were waiting down in the green room. And it's a traditional theater. I mean, beautiful productions that still goes to this day. And they have this huge green room. So they had all of those light bulbs that went around the mirrors where your dressing room stations are. And they had tables in the middle. And this will date me, but you remember those phones that had multi-phone lines that you could push the button and then pick it back up on hold, and it had, back in those days. And so we were sitting there, we were waiting for things to kind of settle up. And I had known a resident ghost that had been in the theater. There were many, there probably still are there. And he would be on the tours all the time. So we were just hanging out. We had a Polaroid camera back then, and we had EMF detectors and things. And I thought, ooh, let's try to get a picture. And his name for me was George. And so I would say, George, I'm going to try to get you on this camera. Can you put out some energy? Just put out some energy. I didn't know what I was talking about, but I thought, well, maybe he'll show up or something will happen. And so the first time, with the Polaroids, you kind of have to pull it halfway back and then you pull it all the way back. And the first time it wouldn't go. So I'm like, oh, come on, George, just put something out there. And so I go the second time and I pull back on that Polaroid camera, and I am not lying. Every single light bulb around the room went off in succession. and every single phone line lit up in succession. And I think the funniest part about that, so that was something that happened right in front of my eyes. But I think the funniest part about that was our skeptic friend who was like, this is all a bunch of crap, who was just coming along with us for his drink, right? He literally went running out of the theater. And after we were done, we found him 2 blocks away with a whiskey, literally looking at us like, you better tell me what just happened. And we're like, what do you mean? You were there. He's like, nope, that didn't happen. So that was one of the experiences, I think, that was pretty telling for me as to the fact that energy is a lot easier, I think, to manipulate than physical things, particularly when you're right in front of them. But yeah, I definitely think they can move physical things too.
Yeah, I agree. I think I definitely see more activity with light switches and the radio, things that are an electrical current. I believe that paranormal or ghosts are able to manipulate that a little bit better. We do see that there are a couple questions that have come in about it's like scary rooms and things that have happened, and room 400. So those of you that follow the Hotel Apache or follow Binion's in Las Vegas, you've probably heard about room 400, and it is a hot spot. A portal of activity. Shannon, you got to make sure you come visit us in Las Vegas again soon, and you and I will go in there and let's take a look, and we can do some footage.
Can I just tell you, how cool is that, and how smart is that they have a resident medium? I mean, for people who are interested in paranormal tourism, you can find some hotels that may have some history, but for them to embrace it and give people the opportunity to go, because some of the things that we're talking about, this work doesn't happen immediately. You have to kind of sit and hang out and, usually, and, kind of get the vibe and try to get some video and things like that. And people get to go to a hotel which has a resident medium. Are you joking? Anyways, yes, I want to go.
Okay, we'll set that up.
Right.
Let's go to Patrick Keller. He's the host of the Big Seance podcast. I want to hear what he has to say about Tim's story. So let's go there.
Hi, my name's Patrick Keller of the Big Seance podcast, and I've heard about this hard count room at Binion's. And what it makes me think of are some of the techniques that one of our very first modern paranormal investigators, Harry Price, used to do. And that is to take chalk and circle things, or somehow mark and define where something is sitting, like with tape or something, and then keep an eye on it or check back to see if things have moved outside of those areas. And something even simpler in this day and age, 2021, is to set up a video recording. Sounds to me like this room isn't used or accessed very frequently. That's perfect. You don't want people accessing it while you're keeping an eye on things. You could hopefully catch something moving if it's going to. Do I think things can be moved by spirit or some kind of energy? I absolutely do. I have not seen it, though. It's just kind of my feeling.
I love Patrick because he's just going to tell us what he thinks. And I think that's important. I think with any kind of investigation, it's important that you, myself, Patrick, whoever is involved, like, we have to go in almost from a scientific perspective. We want proof. We want to see that there's something that's happening. And I think a lot of us have stories. But I think when you come out, we'll do an investigation. We'll see what we get. I think we're going to get some stuff, which will be fun. Yeah, interesting. So Patrick, thanks so much for weighing in. We'll hear from Patrick again in just a minute. In the comments, everybody that's watching live, what did you think, if you haven't already commented yet, about the hard count room story? What do you think? Do you think that ghosts can move objects? And if you ever had anything that you've experienced, drop us a comment right now and let us know. And thank you to everybody who's been tagging your friends, your family. I just took a quick peek at the comments, and a lot of you are tagging folks. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I think we should move on to the next clip. What I've done with this video, there's no one talking, so there's just some sound in the background. what I want us to focus on and the viewers to look at is the activity that's actually happening in the video. And I've looped it twice. It's really quick. So let's go ahead and take a peek at that video. Okay. Oh my gosh. We're going to talk about orb activity because when I look at that video clip, I see orbs. I see these balls of light. What did you pick up, Shannon?
Yeah, I saw the orbs too. I think, with orbs are just so tricky because especially when you're putting in clips, quick clips of orbs, you're taking it out of the context of whatever, whomever took it was in, right? So my guess is when they were investigating or even just hanging out, maybe they weren't even investigating and rolling video, there's probably maybe even hours of video where they got these orbs. And I think that for when I was doing work and we would see that kind of video evidence, what was really important to me was the context. So usually, those people are with me. And I'm the type of person, I'm not the one with the gadgets usually. Like I like a good EMF detector just like anyone else or a good EVP, but I'm not paying as much close attention to those things. So having those people with you and then being able to play it back, it's easier to be like, oh, I was there. And there was no natural light and there was no, you have the context yourself. But when you're taking it as just video, sometimes it's hard to say, yeah, that's for sure not some sort of reflective light or something like that. In my experience, when I see those orbs, it usually is kind of an exclamation point on something else that's happening while you're there. Oftentimes especially if you have a couple people and you're kind of talking about it amongst yourselves or experiencing it and then talking about it afterwards, you'll be like, yeah, there was an energy shift and wow, it felt really warm over here, or there were other physical things maybe, or energetic things that were happening. And then oftentimes you'll either see that orb or that EVP at that same collective moment where everybody was having different experiences. So for me, I would totally expect that if this person was on this investigation or doing this, that's probably what it was. But I can also see the side of people being like, it was probably some specks of light in the air. So it's hard sometimes when it's out of context, I think. What do you think, Dallisa?
Yeah, I like orbs, and I know a lot of paranormal investigators kind of poo-poo them, but I've had a couple of interesting experiences with orbs. One was when I attended a group hypnosis class to take a look at a past life. And the gentleman that was leading it had an infrared camera at the front of the room, actually pointing towards the group, and had a monitor up. And there were so many orbs flying around of different speeds, different sizes, shapes, different color variations. And so that activity was really mind-blowing. And then another time, right after my grandfather passed away, I came to visit my parents and go up to have the funeral service. And my dad, I came to the house, and my dad said, Dallisa, there's noises upstairs. Now, my parents' house is very haunted in general. And I'm fifth generation, so we have a lot of spirit activity in the family. But he said, there's a banging, there's noises upstairs. And I thought, oh my God. So you'd think I would be like the bravest person in the world being a psychic medium going into like a haunted location, but I don't generally like it. And so I picked up my cat as he was going to be my protector. And my dad and I walk up the stairs to see, like, do we see anything? And I got my phone out, and in the viewfinder of the phone, I mean, I have never seen a spectacle of orbs in my whole life. And there was a lot of activity directly on the spot where my dad was hearing the noise as he was one floor below. So there's just too many things and factors that I've seen. I'm a believer. I do think, of course, there can be dust or light or different things, but I do actually think that orbs can be an indicator of an increased amount of energy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Can I ask you a quick question? How was your
Sure.
cat when you took it up there? Did your cat?
You know what? And this is interesting. You asked this question. He was fine. I think it's my opinion on that is animals already see that stuff.
Mm,
So I don't think, unless it was something evil that would have been there, but I think cats and dogs can see things, children can see things. So for my cat, he's passed away since, but his name was Houdini, of course. And I think Houdini would just see stuff like that, on a regular basis. So it was just another day for him.
yep.
Yeah. Should we see what Patrick has to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Patrick Keller again. In response to this video, I hate to be the one to possibly rock the boat here, but I am not a big orb person at all. They tend to get a giant eye roll from me, so I hope you'll still like me. I tend to believe in the traditional, more historical definition of orbs, which, as far as I know, you have to be able to see them with your physical eye without the use of a camera. And there's something about the modern digital cameras, about the time digital cameras were becoming a thing. That's when orbs, or what people think are orbs, just exploded everywhere with the use of a flash. Obviously, that's going to make it more, you're gonna pick things up more easily. Dust, a lot of these old places, let's face it, have a lot of dust, but I can do that in my own house if I just puff a pillow and then take some pictures, especially with the flash. It can be explained, I think, scientifically. I'm not the one scientifically to explain it, but I think 99.9% of what people think are orbs or balls of energy are not. Just my thing. My tips for you to capture the paranormal are simple things like staying in a location and staying quiet for a while and just like soaking in the energy of the space. And maybe journaling if you're there for a long period of time. Journal when things happen, the time, what the weather was, who witnessed it, who else was there, so that you can see patterns when they start forming. Tools can be fun. I do like tools. I do think tools can distract us and make us miss things that happen. Also, just pay attention to your feelings and how you feel about a space, and always have a recorder running, some kind of recording. But other than that, you don't need much. Just sit in the space, enjoy it, be respectful, and hopefully, they'll throw you a bone and give you some kind of cool experience. My name's Patrick Keller from the Big Seance Podcast.
I just love him.
I totally dig him. I mean, he's right. And when you go into those spaces, TV has made paranormal investigating really sexy. I mean, but when you're in there doing it, it's not usually super sexy. Sometimes it's really boring. It's staking it out and really getting in there and feeling the energy. He's totally right. And that's why I'm like, hey, you guys got the gear, whoever's got the gear, like keep it rolling, because you can't always see these things. And the orbs are, a good example of that. They don't always just show up very visually. You have to have them usually on video or camera. And today's technology makes it a lot different. Just like he was saying, that there's things that cameras can do, and it makes it harder to explain from the layperson. But if you're the one holding the camera and that it was there, it's easier to understand what was going on in the moment or whatever. But I totally agree with him. I think you go in, you stake yourself out, and that's when you're going to get kind of those cool experiences. And it may be an orb, or maybe it's in room 400. I got to get to room 400, but maybe it's in room 400, or maybe it's just, in your property or others. But I think he's totally right. I agree with him.
Yeah. we're going to all get together. We'll see if Patrick come and join us too. And heck, even some of the people watching may want to join us. When you stay at the Hotel Apache, they actually have a ghost hunting kit that you can rent, and it helps you with different tools capture what's going on in the hotel room. So it's really awesome.
Did I hear you? Sorry to interrupt you, Dallisa.
Yeah.
Did I hear you saying that you're taking people's, like, if they go and stay, that you can send in your ghost story, or are they recording any of that stuff? Because when we were doing our paranormal tour a million years ago, we would do that, and we would really see some trends and activity. And my favorites were from skeptics, the ones that were like, oh yeah, bring it. Nobody's going to show me a ghost. And then they're walking out crying because they've got so emotionally overwhelmed and didn't expect that, all this stuff was going to happen. So I hope that maybe, with that ghost hunting kit, they're doing some of that, or you're taking those ghost stories, because that would be really interesting to see over time what happens there.
Yeah, we do, which is a great segue to what I was going to remind people of, because when you stay at the Hotel Apache, they actually collect information at the front desk. You can write down what stories you have from your stay, and then electronically they can be submitted through spiritandspark.com. There's a button in the menu called Ghosts. I tried to make it as easy as possible.
Cool.
And you can go on there and tell us what the ghost story is. And we're going to take priority of the footage and the videos that are captured from Hotel Apache, but I'm also going to work in different clips and stories that are from all over, because the guests that stay at the Hotel Apache are from all over. And I think as we investigate and study more of these videos, these clips, and these stories, it makes us all more educated about how to communicate with the other side. Just like Patrick said, being kind, being respectful. The last thing you want to go into a place and do is be intentionally mean or try to evoke a spirit, because there are people that have scratches and people that have experienced spirits laying on top and pushing their bodies down. We'll get into more stories like that. We're trying to warm you up a little bit first for all of our viewers out there, but yeah, we are. We're collecting stories actively, because you're right. There's so much that goes on, and it's nice to have a lot of different people that are having their experiences submit them back so we can take a look at those.
Awesome.
Yeah. Shannon, will you come back and join me again next week?
I would love to. This was so fun.
Okay, awesome. So I'll let you go for today. I'm going to talk about the prizes and the perks for this week. And so Shannon, we'll welcome you back next week with new clips for us to look at.
All right. We'll see you then.
Thanks, Shannon. Oh my gosh. Shannon's awesome. I'm so glad that she was able to join us for today's show. So I have a couple things we have to go over first before we close out today's show. And I'm going to do a couple card readings for viewers. So you might be one of those lucky recipients. But let's take a look. We've got some prizes and perks for today. Okay. So one of the things that we're doing, I'm going to play a little clip for you in a second, is the Hotel Apache at Binion's in Las Vegas wants you to be able to go on your own ghost hunt. And I want you to be able to go on your own ghost hunt because I want all of your photos and your videos and your stories about what you capture there. So what we're going to do, and we've made this as easy as possible, the phone number is right up here, or I put it down below, and they're offering you 20% off of your stay at the Hotel Apache, so you can go on your own ghost hunt. And some restrictions apply. You do have to be 21 years old or older to redeem this perk. And then I'll go over the one that I'm going to give you. So let's go ahead and show you those details for the Hotel Apache offer for this week. I love how the rooms are decorated. They remind me of like iconic, classic, historic Las Vegas. So make sure that you do that. You have 48 hours. I told you they were going to be time sensitive. So we are recording live on April 7th, 2021. You have through the day on Friday, April 9th, 2021 to redeem that. All you have to do is call and say, hey, I heard about the 20% offer, and go ahead and book your room. You don't have to stay at the hotel by April 9th. You just have to call and make sure you have your reservation by then. So mention that offer. And then I have a prize that I want to give everybody. So I mentioned I am the resident psychic medium for the Hotel Apache at Binion's Gambling Hall and Hotel. Fifth generation psychic medium. I headlined a show there and met some of you while I was headlining that show. And I love oracle cards. I love tarot cards. I don't use them that often in my sessions or on stage because I'm just directly channeling information through, but I love cards. And so I thought, what cards would be really cool to give away something with for this show? And I selected the cards of destiny. And I know I have a glare, you can't see it that well, but the cards of destiny were designed by Sharon Jeffers, and they're actually based off of a standard deck of playing cards, which is perfect for the casino, right? And so if you go on my website, spiritandspark.com, click on ghosts, you have 48 hours to do this. Click on ghosts. There's going to be a little form. I'll show you in a second. There's a little form, and you just fill that out. And what I'm going to do, I selected 13 of these cards. I'm going to tune into your energy. I'm going to pick one of the 13 cards, and I am going to email you the card and the message that's on it. And it'll be in your email. If you don't see the email from me within 48 hours, I'm going to almost guarantee you it's in your spam email folder. So submit the form, fill it out. I will send it back to you within 48 hours with your card that I think aligns with your energy. So it will be a lot of fun, but you only have 48 hours. It's going to ask you for a passcode on that form. Like, what is the passcode? Because I want to know that you watched our video, that you're involved in our paranormal team, our investigations. The passcode for this week is ghosts. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible, folks. The password for this week is ghosts. So fill out the form and write ghosts in there, and I'll email you your card. It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, so what I want to do right now is, if you are interested in me pulling a couple of tarot cards for you, and it's going to be real fast, comment yes in the comments, and I'm going to pick 3 people, and I'm going to give you a card reading, and we'll see what energy shows up. So as you are commenting yes and kind of opting in to allow me to do a reading for you, I'll pick 3 people at random in the comments. Then I'm going to go through a couple of reminders before I get to that. So just a reminder, call the Hotel Apache at the number above, ask for the 20% off room rate by end of day, April 9th, 2021. Make sure you enter on my website the passcode GHOSTS to get your free oracle card. And while you're there on that very page, that is where you submit your ghost story. And I want to hear from you, so make sure you submit that, because I just might feature you on an upcoming episode of Haunted Encounters. So let me go ahead and shuffle my cards. And I would encourage everybody, even if you're not selected as one of these 3 people, stay on. Because what Spirit does is, because you're watching this video, there's something in the messages that I'm about to give to 3 people. There's something in it for you. So even if you're not one of the 3 I'm focused on, you're going to end up getting something from it. I knock my decks because it releases the energy from the deck. And you'll see me knock in between each of the 3 people, which basically says that it's going to give me a new set of energy for that person. So what I'm going to do is just take a quick look over here and see what name kind of sticks out. Stacy Young. Stacy Young is going to be first. Stacy, thanks for tuning in today. We are going to be doing this episode, Haunted Encounters, every Wednesday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, right here, wherever you're watching it. And if you want my predictions, if you want my astrology, I'm not an astrologer, but I do astrology for the week, like the astrology weather. Think of it as like your horoscope, but amplified. I do that over at Spirit and Spark TV on YouTube. So hop on over to YouTube, subscribe to Spirit and Spark TV, and you can see my videos I do on Mondays and Thursdays as well. So, Stacy, I'm going to pull, I watch for jumping cards. Jumping cards are cards that are meant for that person. Ooh, oh, Stacy, I'm pulling one more card. 3 is a lucky number. So let's do 3. Oh my gosh, Stacy. So you got the Page of Pentacles, actually the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles. You got the 1 of Pentacles, and you got the 8 of Pentacles. So Stacy, I'm going to say right now, if you are thinking about doing something this week that has more money involved, or you're looking for more money, or you're manifesting more money, the energy is there. The energy is there. The Knight of Pentacles is about methodical action, like thinking things through, moving things forward, but being very calculated and going at a pace that is steady and balanced. And so if you're looking for more money, make sure that you're doing things in a slow, calculated way. But I also want you to know your worth. Okay, because the 1 of Pentacles says to me, you will manifest what it is that you want in terms of opportunity, money, abundance, to the level that you believe you're worthy of having, like really, really worthy. So everybody watching today, one of the things I'll say is a little test for yourself. If you sit down and you're quiet and you take a few deep breaths and you ask yourself, yes, I can make $1 million this year, and like the next year, I can make $1 million. I want you to see if you actually believe that. And if you don't believe that, I want you to ask yourself, why don't you believe that? Because there's something in there in that energy that needs to be kind of looked at and released and healed. And we do all that with Spirit and Spark. But yeah, it's interesting. So Stacy, you've got a lot around money and amplifying your worth, because then the 8 of Pentacles is success through work. Lots of money, lots of success. But the 8 of Pentacles says, but you got to work for it, Stacy. It's not going to necessarily just all be handed to you like a lotto ticket. This is more like work smart. Work smarter, not harder. Okay. So Stacy, I hope those cards were helpful. I'm going to pick the next person who's tuning in. Stacy, you can comment, let me know if that was helpful, or you can send me a note through spiritandspark.com. That would be awesome. Okay, let me just shuffle this a little bit and see who's next. Terry Jones is up next. Terry Jones. What does Terry need to hear today? Ah, Terry, okay. But yeah, I mean, I know I'm pulling cards for 3 people, but the one oracle card that anybody can get through email, you can have some fun with that too. And you can open it up to your friends and your family. You can send them the link too and the passcode, but send them the link to watch this video too. Okay. All right. So let's see what we got here. So Terry, watching for jumping cards and I'm talking at the same time. Oh my gosh, Terry, you got some good cards here. Oh, I love these. And I like to tell you the names of the cards when I pull them, because I do card readings on my YouTube channel as well. So Terry, you got the 4 of Wands, the 9 of Cups, and the Page of Wands. And I like telling you the cards because then you can go online and do some of your own reading and your own research. The 4 of Wands is like all about really good news, about people coming together, about reasons to celebrate. The 9 of Cups is like wishes fulfilled, things happening for you. And then the Page of Wands is about formulating new ideas, about getting things started. So Terry, if there's anything going on in your world right now where you're like, gosh, should I do this? I don't know. Am I going to be successful? Yes, you're going to be very successful. So I would say to you, Terry, even sit down and journal. Anybody right now, sit down and journal and ask yourself, what are some of the things that I want to get started right now? And what are the steps I'm going to take to get there? Okay. Because manifesting is, you have to have clarity around what you're manifesting. You have to believe that you're worth whatever you're trying to manifest. And then you have to take action to get there. So Terry, right now, these cards are saying to me, you can activate whatever new ideas you have right now and that they will be prosperous and successful. I'd really sit down and do this within the next 7 days. Okay. The energy is like wide open for you right now. Okay. We're going to do one more. And then I'll give you the closing credits and all that fun stuff. But thanks for everybody for joining us today. And we had a lot of fun. I see we have people from all over the country. And thanks for spending a part of your Wednesday with us today. Okay. Let's see. Carrie Stokes. Carrie Stokes. Let's go ahead and pull a couple cards for Carrie. And don't forget, go grab your Oracle card. Go call the Hotel Apache. Get your room booked. Can't wait to see that footage. It's going to be fun. Okay, Carrie. What cards do we have for Carrie today? Oh, this is so awesome. Carrie, I'm going to keep shuffling and pulling your cards, but we got the One of Wands, which is new starts, new beginnings, which is fun. Like all three of you got like, let's go, which makes sense. There's a lot of Aries energy astrologically right now, which is like all about like, let's get up and go. Let's do this. So I would say to you, Carrie, you're probably going to meet some new interesting people, be open to collaborations. You also got the Three of Pentacles. And with that, the Three of Pentacles is like being creative, being very skilled with your work, but working with groups of people. So Carrie, even if you've ever thought about working in a spiritual field or with groups of people or things that have some tradition around it, you would do quite well in that. And then let's pick one more card, Carrie. Ooh, you got the Queen of Wands, which I love because I just mentioned like you being in this field of spirituality. And the Queen of Wands is about stability. It's about being a career woman, like a feminine energy with strength and empowerment. This card signals that you have the intuition to get you through anything. So trust your inner guidance, trust your intuition, trust that inner barometer, because it's going to lead you to exactly where you need to be. So hopefully those cards were helpful to those three people. I'm looking forward to sending everybody else that one card reading that I'll be sending you from the Cards of Destiny deck from Sharon Jeffers. It's going to be awesome. So thank you again for joining us for today's episode. We hope to see you back here next Wednesday at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. And don't forget, you have 48 hours to redeem your 2 offers. So get on that right now. And thanks again so much. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye-bye. See you next week.